Loki episode 4, the Nexus event. Let's talk about it. We open the scene with little Sylvie playing with Valkyrie action figure. Then in comes the TVA, led by Ravana, aka A23 at this time, who kidnaps Sylvie.
Dragon swoops towards the palace, but Valkyrie flies over, defeats the dragon, and saves Asgard.
There's our variant.
And I'm like, they just kidnapped her just because she playing with some toys or something? Like, what was her Nexus event? Like, how did that happen? Sylvie is just a scared little girl, but they take her in anyway. She sees a man that's screaming for help and she yells for somebody to help. Which makes me believe that she is compassionate and empathetic, which I have never seen from our Loki personally. You know, I would love to see Loki as a child, see what he was like instead of just hearing the stories. Like in Thor. In Thor, we did see him as a kid, but we didn't really hear a backstory or anything. He seemed like a really sweet kid, but who knows, because all the stories that we hear are all bad. Baby Sylvie is what I'll call her. Baby Sylvie is in court with A23, but she fights her off and steals her Tempat and escapes through a time door.
Next case.
Back in the present time, at the TVA, Ravana, Judge Renslayer, also used to be known as A23, had a meeting with the Timekeepers. And Mobius waits at the elevators.
What'd they say?
And when she comes down, it seems like she's kind of scared, but also that she's angry that Sylvie almost made it to the Timekeepers. I don't know. I feel like something is up with Renslayer. I feel like everything that comes out of her mouth is a lie. I don't know why, but I just get that feeling. I think Mobius gets that feeling too, because he starts to ask her questions about C20. And Renslayer just says she died. But I really don't think she's dead at all. I just don't trust Renslayer. Back on Lamentus, Loki and Sylvie await their death, and Loki sits and apologizes to Sylvie.
I'm sorry.
In a most sincere way, I feel like he has grown so much just in these couple of episodes that it just makes me feel like, I don't know, it's crazy because he had grown when he right before he was killed by Thanos. But it's like the growth from where he was after the attack of New York, it's actually a very, very good and quick, steady climb for Loki, and I'm very happy for him. So Sylvie, after he apologizes, sincerely, Sylvie starts to tell him the story about her life, and she says that she remembers Asgard and her people, but she also says that the universe wants to break free. That's why it manifests chaos, like her being born, the goddess of mischief. So then I was like, okay, so she was arrested for being a girl Loki. Like, was there only supposed to be male Loki? Was she arrested just for being female and surviving past when she was supposed to die, or whatever the case may have been? I'm not exactly sure, but that's kind of what I got from what she was saying. Sylvie says that she grew up at the ends of 1,000 worlds, because if she didn't go to an apocalypse, then she would create a Nexus event and the TVA would come and get her, pretty much. Over and over again. So she'd have to run from she spent her entire life running from the TVA. Back at the TVA, B-15 is pissed that the variants got away, and she asked Mobius questions about C20. Now Mobius is keeping Renslayer's secret, so he doesn't even say that she's dead, because Renslayer didn't want him to tell anybody to not cause panic. I don't know what she meant by that, but like I said, I don't trust her. I don't trust her or Miss Minutes, okay? Miss Minutes is a creep, and so is Renslayer. Sylvie thinks that all Loki are destined to lose, but Loki doesn't. He believes that they are survivors, which is very true in his case. Sylvie places her hand on Loki's arm.
You're amazing.
And a damn Nexus event starts to happen, okay? Like, they start branching.
You ever seen a branch like that?
And 2 time doors show up and they are captured by the TVA. Loki is in love with Sylvie. I don't care. He really is. I see it in his eyes when they're being taken to different places. Loki is taken with Mobius and Sylvie is taken somewhere else. But Loki is also offended that he doesn't have the same amount of agents on him as Sylvie does. Because he may love Sylvie, but he still wants to be the superior Loki. He just does. I don't know. Whatever. So when going into the Time Theater, Mobius calls Loki an asshole and a bad friend. And I kind of feel like Mobius may be kind of like one of the most genuine people there in the TVA. I don't know. It seems like he may have thought that they formed a genuine friendship. Okay, so Loki tells Mobius that the TVA is lying to him right before they throw him through a red time door, where Sif beats his ass repeatedly.
You conniving, craven, pathetic worm. You did this! I hope you know you deserve to be alone, and you always will be.
After he cut off her hair. It's a time loop over and over again, and I think Loki is getting a lot of self-realization out of this. Mobius asked Renslayer to interview Sylvie, but she ain't having it. She's not. She like, no. Why? She's too dangerous. Which I think is because she escaped from her when she was just a kid, and I think that that's her fear. That she's going to get loose again. But I also feel like it's a personal vendetta. Whatever. So Mobius runs into B-15 in the hallway, and it seems to me like B-15 is starting to have a lot of questions too. Like, she's questioning things. She's just wondering, like, what did Loki say? And Mobius tells her that he said that the TVA is lying to us. And he's like, why? And she's like, no reason. But I'm pretty sure that she has her questions for reasons. Whatever Sylvie did to her, that right there is making her question her reality. So, meanwhile, Loki talks to Sif in the time cell, and for once, she doesn't beat his ass.
Please, I beg you. I'm a horrible person. I get it. I really am.
I cut off your hair because I thought it'd be funny, and it's not. I crave attention. I'm a narcissist.
You are alone. And you always will be.
She still tells him that he's going to be alone forever. Mobius shows up in the time cell to interrogate Loki. Loki lies about having a plan with Sylvie from when they were kids. Mobius sees right through it, lies and says Sylvie has been pruned, or Sylvie's dead. You can tell that Loki loves her because he, everything, his whole focus just shifts to her. Right before Mobius throws him back into the time cell, he reveals to Mobius that all of the TVA agents are variants. And I think Mobius kind of believes him a little bit. And, I mean, that's just what, it's what the deal is. They all variants. It's the truth. I mean, I'm pretty sure that Sylvie knew. Last episode, she told Loki this. So, whatever. Loki tells Mobius he's lying to himself. But Loki is still put in the time cell, thrown in. At this point, I think B-15 got her memories back or something, because she's on a mission, it seems like. So she goes in and she requests from the 2 agents that are guarding Sylvie, that she requests that she goes in and interrogate. They open the door and she goes through the door and she sees Sylvie, and Sylvie's like, oh, a one-on-one, like a fight. But instead, B-15 opens up a time door and she takes her through the time door. Mobius sits in Renslayer's office and she asks him where he would go if he could go anywhere in time or in the world or whatever.
If you could go anywhere, anytime, where would it be?
I like being here now with you, doing the work.
Mobius is still asking questions about C20 and Sylvie, even though the case is supposed to be closed. And Renslayer just keeps lying. She lying. She a liar. She tries to manipulate him by telling him that he's going to meet the timekeepers. And Mobius swaps TemPads with her behind her back because apparently he doesn't believe her. B-15 and Sylvie end up back at Roxcart in Alabama during that apocalypse so they don't start a Nexus event. Sylvie tells B-15 the truth and shows her memories. And I really love this scene. They did a really good job on this scene. Woomy, she's a great actress anyway.
Show me. I looked happy.
Meanwhile, Mobius is looking up C20's interrogation in the TemPad that he swapped from Renslayer, and he hears the truth confirmed. They are all variants, and he sees Renslayer, so he knows that she knows, and she's been keeping the secret from him.
I was there. This was real what I saw. This is a place that I've been. TVA, this was a memory. Calm down, I'm a variant.
Mobius goes to free Loki and gets caught by Renslayer. And Mobius tries to play it off like he made a mistake to swap the TemPads. It wasn't on purpose. But she sees through it, and he sees that she sees through it. And his last words are, "You know where I would go?" And he says where he would go.
I think you have something of mine.
You know where I go if I could go anywhere, wherever it is I'm really from. Maybe I had a jet ski. That's what I'd like to do. Just ride around on my jet ski.
Prune him.
He says where he would go anywhere in time or in the world, referring to their conversation they were having earlier. And they prune him. He gets pruned. Loki's sad as fuck. I'm sad as fuck. We all sad as fuck. I mean, everybody is just sad. Because why? Renslayer comes into the interrogation room where Sylvie is, and she sees that Sylvie is all wet from the rain. And then puts a alert out for B-15. Because she knows that B-15 was the last person to talk to her. Renslayer takes Loki and Sylvie to be executed by the timekeepers. So they head to the Golden Doors. When they're in the elevator, Sylvie asks Renslayer what her Nexus event was, and Renslayer says, "I don't remember." Which I believe is bullshit, because this is personal to Renslayer. If Sylvie got away from her as a kid, I know that she remembers what the hell that Nexus event was, or whatever the deal is, but something is keeping her from saying it. It's secrets that she's holding that's keeping her. There's no way that she forgot at all. They make it to the top of the elevators, and the timekeepers are not what I expect. They're just, I don't even know how to describe what I expected them to be.
At last, you've arrived before us.
What do you have to say for yourself before you meet your variants?
Is that the only reason?
But they're not what I expect. They look like weird aliens floating on chairs. So I don't know, it's weird. Sylvie tries to go at the timekeepers, just talking, but tries to walk in up close to them. And Renslayer is controlling her with the time twister and keeping her back. But then all of a sudden the time collar stops working. The elevator doors open and B-15 is coming through that shit, and she throws Sylvie her sword. They brawl, okay? Loki kills 2 guards, and then it's Sylvie versus Renslayer. And Sylvie beats Renslayer's ass. Okay, so the timekeepers start to bow out as soon as all the guards are down. And I'm like, really? It's just giving me vibes of these are not actually the timekeepers. This is fake. The timekeepers are probably hidden somewhere because they know they can be harmed or something like that. Sylvie walks up and she throws her sword and she beheads the highest floating timekeeper. And when she beheads him, the head comes down, and all the other timekeepers seem to like they just die down. And they pick up the head and find out that they're robots. Like, they're robots, which is, like I said, it already seemed like it was fake to me. And it seems like that probably why they don't take robots prisoner, because robots would probably know another robot. You know what I mean? Just depending on, like, what their capabilities are. Loki goes to Sylvie and tries to confess his feelings to her. But Renslayer wakes up and prunes Loki in the motherfucking back, just like the snake she is.
I have to tell you something.
What is it?
So she prunes Loki, and then Sylvie corners Renslayer to get information from her. And then the scene ends. That's it. But then, post-credit scene, Loki wakes up in a post-apocalyptic New York.
Come with us.
With 4 Loki standing over him. There is a black Loki, a old Loki, a kid Loki, and a gator Loki. And they staring down on my mans. And that just makes me think that that when you get pruned, you don't die. So Mobius is probably still alive somewhere. I don't know if he's still in this same post-apocalyptic New York, or if this is just a New York for just Lokis and he went somewhere else. Because for a time, I really thought that Mobius was a variant Loki. Like, I really did. But who knows? All in all, this was an amazing episode. I laughed. I cried. Mostly cried. The pruning of people just made me cry so hard. But the end credit scene, like, it just proves to me that pruning does not kill you. And that Mobius might be here unless it's a place for just Lokis, like I said. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, share, and subscribe. Even if you don't subscribe or like it, share it, because somebody else might like it. You never know. You don't know who might like it. Let them know. Let them see. Let them decide for themselves. All right, y'all. Peace.